On this episode of Mothman in the Bible Belt, Clarksburg singer-songwriter Allister Stolas dishes on new music, local West Virginia music venue haters, and traveling the country playing music. Stolas reminisces on performing in church in his youth and his evolving sound. He also shares two new tracks, Breaking My Bones and When I Wake Up Again. Coming up next.
Welcome to the Mothman in the Bible Belt podcast with your host, Buck Fantastic.
Girl Scout cookies.
Music soothes Allister Stolas' soul. Stolas got his start in church, later transitioning to playing metal and punk. Today, his sound borders on folk rock. Music led Stolas on a cross-country journey playing streets and stages, just him and his guitar. Stolas has played his music on several local television news shows and has released several singles on iTunes and Amazon Music. Stolas will be playing the Jane Lou Junction on July 11th, the Mad Hatter Club in Beckley on July 12th, and the Appalachian Arts and Music Festival on July 19th in Lost Creek. With that being said, the government of Israel attacked Iran and they attacked them back, and Israel's genocide in Gaza rages on while Israeli settler attacks on Palestinians in the West Bank get ramped up. Needless to say, it's a huge bloodbath in the Holy Land in Iran right now. Lots of innocent people dying on all sides. If you think that the U.S. should be financing Israeli terror, please contact your congressional reps and ask them to support an arms embargo on Israel now. The congressional switchboard number is 202-224-3121. Again, that number is 202-224-3121. Join me, your host, Buck Fantastic, for another exciting episode of Mothman in the Bible Belt. It's eclectic chit-chat of otherworldly origins. Allister, welcome. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful.
So, how would you define your music? Roots, folk, country?
Singer-songwriter. So I don't box myself into any genre. What I've got out right now might be considered closer to folk, stuff like that. But I've got a plethora of different genres I dip into and everything. I've been writing for many years. Played in metal bands, punk bands, and all of that. Now I just do it all with an acoustic guitar. But I like to say it's like soulful, a little bit of folk, a little bit of pop sometimes. You know, that indie pop in a way. That's what I'm aiming for, like a soulful indie pop in a way.
You got two new singles out on iTunes, Breaking My
Yes.
Bones and When I Wake Up Again. I love Breaking My Bones. What's the story behind the track?
Oh, wow. So the story behind the track is actually the story to why I even started traveling and doing the traveling singer-songwriter thing that I've done for the past 2 years. 2 years ago, my ex-wife and I unfortunately had a miscarriage, and promptly after she started leaving slowly, you know, bits and pieces. She started talking to other fellows and stuff like that, and then she eventually just called it quits and left me. And I was just kind of stuck there wondering what I should do. But it was the times that I would try to be there for her and try to do what I could. And, you know, you can only do so much whenever you're trying to be there for someone and just comfort them. But anytime I would try that, it would just seem like it would fall on deaf ears. And no matter what I said, she would start hurling some insults at me that she never did any time in our entire relationship. And you know, it was the whole turning these words into sticks and stones. Like, I'm a very emotional fella, and it was hard to take after 13 years of being together and not really having too much of an issue the entire time. And then after that, it all kind of just crumbled within a couple of weeks. So Breaking My Bones came out of that. I just wrote it a couple weeks ago, but I've got plenty more that are coming out. I've just got to get in the studio, or currently my bathroom, with a microphone hanging in it. Um, Whatever works, works. But as soon as I get the chance, I'm going to be putting out a few more singles, and then I've got two full-length albums prepared for this year and then next year.
Coming so tired, strung out from the road. All I wanted was to find some comfort inside our broken home. We've been slowly falling apart, barely held on by a thread. Holding on to a memory still playing in my head. Ooh, baby, just hold me. I don't need you to scold me. Please listen to me and what I feel inside. You become such a stranger, tongue lashing with anger. You've turned these words into sticks and stones. Oh, baby, you're breaking my bones. Tell me there's some other guy, so much better in all your time, hitting harder and harder with every line. And when I try to make small talk, you get pissed and just walk off, making me feel like I'm wasting my time. Ooh, baby, just hold me. I don't need you to scold me. Please listen to me and what I feel inside. You become such a stranger, tongue lashing with anger. You've turned these words into sticks and stones. Oh, baby, you're making my bones. It's a critical breaking the skin, beating down and stone. Baby, you're breaking my bones. Ooh, baby, just hold me. I don't need you to scold me. Please listen to me and what I feel inside. You become such a stranger, tongue lashing with anger. You've turned these words into sticks and stones. Breaking my bones. Baby, you're breaking my. Baby, you're breaking my. Baby, you're breaking my bones.
So where do you record the music?
Anywhere. Just about. So Breaking My Bones was recorded at my good buddy Andy Benson's house. He runs a podcast called West Virginia Songs and Stories, and he specifically reaches out to songwriters and does the same thing here. But I recorded that at his place, and then when I wake up again, I recorded, like I said, in my bathroom. I just had a microphone hanging from the shower curtain rod and plugged my guitar in and recorded the best I could, and it sounds all right. But I had an offer here recently to work with a feller that's went to school for production and stuff up in PA, and as soon as I get the opportunity, I'm going to try to work that out with him, probably in June, July sometime if I can.
You have this great song called You that you played on the Songs and Stories podcast last year. Will it ever get released digitally?
Yes, it will. So I want to record a different version of that. My voice was shot on it. It might sound great, but for me, I don't. I'm not a fan of it. The song or the recording, not the song. So that song was the first one that I wrote after the split and everything. That was reflective on everything happening. And what it was I'd went to Vermont, and it was the first time I'd ever been to Vermont, and I had the knack of tapping my ex-wife on the leg to say, "Hey, look how pretty thing everything is." And like most people, she was usually on her phone, playing around. And I had that reaction to do that my first trip to Vermont, and she wasn't there, and it kind of just sunk in then. But it took about 3 months of mulling it over and then getting drunk with a biker chaplain at this little rally. And it ended up coming out pretty quick. The next morning, I woke up and I recorded a video of it, and it's been the same ever since. And then Andy added harmonica to it, which I want to do again. I want to go in and re-record it all and have him put harmonica on it again. But yes, it'll be probably about the fifth or sixth single, because I'm going to do like probably a good bit of singles before I even do an album, just to get something out there. A catalog of some sorts with a good bit of everything for everyone if I can.
You played If You Ever Need Me on a TV newscast.
Mhm.
Great song. Who inspired it?
A muse, a dear friend of mine that she inspired about 6 songs in the course of a month, and that one was just kind of me reaching deep down. I was out on the coast of North Carolina, and I've been talking with her and everything, and it was just one of those moments where I wished I could have just been there instead of down in North Carolina. And it was never anything more than a friendship thing. It was just infatuation on my end. And again, I'm an emotional sort, and I get attached easy and stuff. But she's still a dear friend, and still absolutely loves the songs that I've written that are inspired by her and everything like that. But yeah, it was inspired by, like I said, just someone really special in my life that came out of nowhere. The universe just kind of threw her in my way, and keeps throwing her in my way. We keep just reconnecting and stuff like that whenever it seems like we're not able to. And I keep on my path, and she keeps on hers, and she keeps inspiring some pretty good music.
Is that ever going to get recorded?
Yes. Yeah. So anything that you've done your work too, I'm impressed. Um, anything you've found that is not on streaming will be on streaming. I've just I've been really honestly working through my mental health issues for the past couple of years, and not really cared about getting music out there. I was more worried about the experience of travel and getting to meet people like I was getting to meet them, and living life like I was living, rough and sleeping out of my car, and just getting to experience life from a completely different side. And now I've decided to buckle down and start focusing on the career aspect of it, and actually recording and trying to get myself out there a little bit more.
Why did you take down the Volga sessions?
That was just a matter of I didn't really like the recordings. I didn't like the songs. Those songs were very generic, in my opinion, and it was from a completely different person. I I just I didn't feel any of them except for Song of the Deep. Song of the Deep was probably the only one that truly had some semblance of true meaning to it, and it's going to be re-recorded. The rest of them on it, I'm not going to. Also, I just like I said, didn't want them. Don't like them. I mean, didn't want them up, so I took them down.
When did you pick up your first guitar?
12 years old, right about. My mom got me an acoustic at about 12. I've got a picture around here somewhere. I'll take a picture of it if I can and send it to you. But It's been a long journey. A preacher man taught me how to play back then, taught me three chords, G, C, and D, and then had me playing in church right off the bat, basically. And he would lean back and tell me the chord while we're in the middle of a song and stuff, just so I would know how to switch, and trial by fire, essentially. And went from there into, like said, punk and metal and stuff like that. And just continued to play guitar and write after. I don't know. I don't know. I actually gave up guitar for about 12 years. Not really gave it up, but just didn't really play it like I do now. And then once I jumped back into it, it's been, I play better now than I ever have in my entire life. I actually focus on it. I never focused on it before. Before it was just something to pass time. Now it's a means of survival.
What was the first song that you played on guitar?
First song I played, full song. Ooh, if I were to guess, I would say something along the lines of like "Smoke on the Water" or Seven Nation Army. I don't even know if Seven Nation Army was out yet, so I can't say that one. Probably Iron Man or Deep Purple's "Smoke on the Water." Now I will say the first song that I remember actually performing on guitar, like I'd played in church, but my idea of performing was like getting up on a stage. And at a talent show, I did Sweet Home Alabama with my one of my teachers, Larry Rogers, who plays in a band called Whiskey River, actually, and has helped me out a little bit here and there. But yeah, he inspired me in a way to actually swallow that fear and get up there and actually play on the stage and everything. I'd sang on stage before a bunch, but playing my guitar was a whole different world. It's still a whole different world.
Is it true that the Barney song "I Love You, You Love Me" was the first song you ever sang?
Jeez, yeah, you did do research. Yes, it was. That's what Nana says. That's what Nana and Mom both say. I was singing it before I could talk, before I could use words. I was already humming it and everything like that. And I was bound to sing, I suppose.
So, who was better, Barney or Lamb Chop?
I don't even remember. I'm going to say Barney just because I still have, I can go find the toys. I had so many different Barney toys that are still down at the old trailer and everything. And it's funny to see them. And then you see what Barney looks like now. And it's like, that guy's an imposter. That ain't even the
Yeah.
real Barney.
What music acts influenced your sound?
Hmm. Continually influencing my sound would be like, it's hard to describe, like to really say who, because all of my influences are like, I got Blink 182 and Green Day and stuff like that on my punk end. I like that type of stuff. I've got them tattooed on me. On the country end of things, George Strait, I love his tone. I love Chris Stapleton's writing. I love Sturgill Simpson and Jason Isbell and Tyler Childers. As far as their writing goes and stuff like that, Zach Bryan you could throw in there as well. I like raw, authentic, genuine people that aren't just writing a story to write a story for the sake of it, but actually writing something that they may have lived through or somebody they know has actually lived through, and it's got some semblance of truth to it. So, I mean, as far as that goes, and then I like rap. I like Logic and Connor Price and a few others that I listen to here and there. I like and so Mac Miller. I'm thinking about. I'm definitely going to be doing some rap at some point, and I love Mac Miller. Like that type of flow and stuff like that. If I can achieve it, if I can, it's not like I can do all of these, but I'm going to take a crack at any of them that I want to do because I don't believe that I should be held into anything. The whole road's mine. Why would I stay in my lane?
You grew up in Clarksburg, right?
Outside of Clarksburg. So I have a Clarksburg address, but I'm 20 minutes from Clarksburg itself. I'm out towards Wallace, Wetzel County, closer towards Wetzel County, I suppose, if you were to look at me on a map. Yeah, I went to Clarksburg growing up here and there, but I spent all of my time out in the hollers out here, and fishing in the ponds and creeks and stuff like that. Sardis area is the area that I'm at.
Is there a lot of music venues to play in the Clarksburg
No,
area?
no, not well. I don't know. I mean, they don't book me. I try. I reach out. I used to get booked 6 years ago whenever I was my former self. Um, and then I don't know. I reach out to places and I get ignored. And then I go in there and I play an open mic night and they're gobsmacked and they go, "Holy crap, how can we book you?" And I go, "Check your messages." Like, I mean, I've been in your emails for a couple of years consecutively, at least once every year, trying to send some of these places just to get a local place so I don't have to drive to North Carolina to get a gig. But I get more gigs in North Carolina and Beckley and Florida and all these places outside of West Virginia. I don't know. It's tough in this state. It's we don't have a lot of money here, and a lot of people just don't want to go out and see live music a lot of the time either, unless it's metal, and that's just because there's a bunch of angry teenagers that want to go mosh, and I was one of them, so I totally get it. I laughed at the guy with the acoustic guitars, so I get it. Like
You grew up in the 90s. In your opinion, what was the best music to come out of that decade?
'90s, ooh, so I'm a fan of the pop rock, so like bare naked ladies and stuff like that. But I also grunge. I mean, Nirvana and Soundgarden and all of them, like without a doubt in my mind, that and industrial, which turned into dubstep in my opinion, in a way, like industrial house music and all of that kind of made its way to dubstep, which I love dubstep and EDM. So industrial, Nine Inch Nails and all of them, like I would say just the rock in general. Like I absolutely miss that kind of gothic vibe. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of what it truly was back then in a way. But yeah, rock and a little bit of the pop rock and stuff like that. I don't really like a lot of the other music from the '90s to be honest.
You dropped out of high school. Did you ever go
Sure
back and
did.
get your GED?
Nope.
You
I,
didn't?
nope. I tried. I felt the test 2 or 3 times. Math is not my strong suit. Um, Everything else I tested well enough, but math I just no.
It took me twice to pass it.
I don't. I'm 33 at this point, and I'm never going to have to worry about having that thing. As far as I'm concerned, I'm either going to be a musician till I die, or there's no other option. So, I mean, I uh, I don't. I've had a lot of jobs in my life. When I dropped out at 16, I went into the workforce, and I I've worked my life away. I may only be 33, but I've worked since I was 16, and it's been labor. I've barely had an easy job, and this is probably the most stressful that I've ever had, just because of driving, travel, all of that. Like mentally taxing and everything because you're always on the road and you're always just trying to stay awake and keep going and everything. But the act of playing music, it's, I mean, it's just as much of a job as it's not. Music isn't playing music, in my opinion. It's an emotion. I'm just letting it out. I'm not working when I'm playing, but everything else is the job. It's promotion, all of that. Not having a manager, having to contact all of these places myself, create my own flyers, do my own promo pics, my own recording. I'm fully independent. I do my own t-shirts, make my own designs. I don't outsource anything if I can. Like it's all I keep it here if I can, and it's work.
So what led to you dropping out?
What led to that?
Yeah.
My rebellious nature, I suppose. I was intelligent. Just didn't want to do anything. I
I get it.
didn't want to do what I was told for sure. Like I wasn't a bad kid. Like I just bad mouth the teachers and stuff. If they said something cross to me, I said it right back. Like I mean, I had no problem standing up for myself, and I'm still that guy. Like it gets me into trouble still to this day. But there's a term for it, and I can't remember what it is. But it's like you tell me what to do, and I'm going to do the absolute opposite. And it was just basically that. I would have to say unmedicated ADHD, probably.
So, what did you see yourself doing as a kid, occupation wise, as an adult?
What I'm doing now, exactly what I'm doing now. Um, and preaching, but I've gone pretty far away from organized religion. I'll say I'm a spiritual person. I didn't even used to say that. I used to say I was an atheist, but things change in people's lives. But I do spread a message still. Um, do what thou wilt and love above all, and it's an important thing to me in my interpretation of it, of finding your true passion, doing what you truly want. You can't really go wrong with that. And then as long as you love above all and walk with kindness and compassion in your heart, you'll always have a friend. You'll always have somebody you can rely on, somebody you can trust, and vice versa. You should always be that for somebody else. Case in point, I just had a friend call me just an hour ago, bawling his eyes out, saying that he's like me. He's got some pretty severe issues from time to time, and he's been going through the death of his puppy dog and a few other things. And he called me. He said he was praying and kept praying and praying, and God told him to call me because he just couldn't think of anything else to do, and he didn't want to do the alternative, which is something none of us ever want each other to do. And I'm glad he did. I'm glad he called me because I was able to be there for him, and he's been there for me through multiple situations that I've only known him since last October. Yeah, last October. So, I mean, he's been a true confidant, without a doubt, somebody that saved my life, and I've apparently saved his.
So, what's your favorite music venue to play in West Virginia?
Mm. Jimmy's Place in Beckley. It's a tiny little sports bar.
Hmm.
They got some great Nepali food. Service is awesome. The owner's a great guy. They're really trying to put an effort into turning it into a music venue. And I'm sure a lot of people might scoff at me saying that it's a great music venue, but if I'm being completely honest, I've made a lot of great friends there that truly do enjoy music and show up. Like, I mean, they're good folk. It's a good place. When they have metal shows, it's packed to the gills. I mean, so packed it ain't even funny. When the Kind Thieves play there, they're a great band too. It was so packed it wasn't even funny, and the energy in there was so amazing. Everybody was there to have a great time, and everybody was dancing around. I was acting like a fool. There's a video of me out there just going crazy, but it's a wonderful place. You can actually feel comfortable. You don't have to look over your shoulder and worry if a fight's going to break out or anything like that, which is not the case for a lot of places, to be completely honest.
You are known for hopping on a bus and traveling across the country to play your music.
Not a bus. I'll show you this. Not a bus. That little blue car, specifically.
Oh,
I have been sleeping out of that little blue car for the past 2 years while traveling. And I'll stop in national forests and stuff like that to make it easier on me and stuff. But for all intents and purposes, old Louise has been my main ride, only ride.
what's been the most exciting venue you've ever played on your journeys across country?
Oh, so most exciting. Oh man, that's actually a tough one. So like before I even started traveling and stuff, back when I was just doing the old me and I was not not anything that I thought was something to be proud of. I got to play the Sagebrush Roundup. And that was a pretty cool stage. Like, it made me feel like I was at the Grand Ole Opry. It's out there in Fairmont. And it was, like I said, it just made you feel cool. But honestly, I would either say playing outside of the Shaws in Vermont on the sidewalk, or playing on the sidewalk in Sleepy Hollow, New York on Halloween night right before driving into New York City for the first time. So venues are fun, but I'm a street musician first and foremost, and have been for a long time. I play venues, I play festivals, I'm booked for a couple of festivals later on this year and everything, but it's the most exciting places are on the street. That's where you actually get to meet random strangers and people that really vibe to the music and stuff like that and show their appreciation tenfold. I mean, I make plenty of money whenever I go out and busk compared to some gigs barely pay me a dime to play. And it's I feel more appreciated when I'm playing out on the street than I do when I'm on a stage, because people just want to drink and not care about what the guy's saying on stage.
What's your thoughts about AI being used in music?
AI should stay out of art. I don't have a problem with AI. I use AI. Not in my music, nothing like that. I use it in my car because Google uses it with Google Maps and stuff like that in my GPS. So finding my routes and all of that, AI is used. I'm cool with that because it helps me get from point A to point B and all of that. But when we're taking the human creativity aspect out of art, it's no longer art in my mind. It's something completely different. Using a machine to create dubstep, you still have to have the human element in it. You just don't type in create song.
Hmm.
But I've heard people use that argument like it's not music, it's just using machines. I completely disagree. You still have the human element in there. They're still creating something that they're wanting to be appealing to the human ear using their mind and hands and all of that. If you just input and it creates something for you, I'm completely against it. I've got a friend that uses it as a tool. I'm not for it. And I have nothing against them as an artist or anything like that. It's just like all of my songs were written by me.
Hmm.
Every word, all of that. All the chords and stuff like that. Sure, they might be chords that are used in other songs, but you kind of can't get away from that in this day and age. So I try to change up the tempos, I try to change up the patterns, I try to change stuff up like that if I realize that it's close to the same chord structure, and I try to make it mine. And I think too many people are wanting to create music that just is appealing to others in general and not really wanting to just create something out of them and just letting it flow from them. Instead, they want to cut corners, and cutting corners isn't any way to go. And I had to learn that the hard way for sure. I mean, it's taken me a lot longer to feel like the kind of musician that I finally feel like than I thought it would. And I think a lot of people just want to cut corners and get famous off of making videos or you know getting big gigs at big venues with big name people and all of that, and they try to coattail people and stuff. And I think that uh, it takes away from the artisticness of it, just like the AI. Like, I don't like AI in art.
I have a few questions from the
Mhm.
listeners.
Oh God.
Yes, yes, yes. Sheena Bowen asks that I
Oh
talk to you
God.
about your roadie, Elizabeth. Who is Elizabeth?
Give me 1 second. Ah, this is Elizabeth.
Oh,
Yeah. So
dinosaur.
she's missing a leg, and Sheena's going to kill me for that. But her leg's in the case, so don't fret. I've been fixing her every time I put her out. But Elizabeth the lizard, and she's been with me for like 4 or 5 months now. She's been all the way out to Vegas. Yeah, she took the trip to Vegas with me. Yeah, she went all the way to California with me, and she's been down to Florida. We spent a month down in Florida. That was a rough one. But that's my faithful roadie, Elizabeth.
Josh Dorsey asks, what is your favorite mushroom?
Albino Averys, so far. I get different ones from time to time. And when he's saying mushrooms, he means psychedelic. I microdose. It keeps me happy instead of being depressed. I don't drink anymore. I've been on a pretty staunch trying to stay sober and California sober, as they say. But alcohol is bad for me, and mushrooms have helped me realize that. Not in heavy doses where I'm tripping balls and seeing stuff melt everywhere and all of that stuff, but in low doses in meditative and workout activities and stuff like that. And they really seem to help me.
That's good.
I can't say that for others, but me. Yeah. So albino Averys or these other ones that I was just introduced to that have this like really nutty taste, and I can't remember what they're called, but they're a different kind of cubensis, and they're super strong. And I didn't expect them to be that way, so they only take a little bit instead of a little bit, and it's better. I like them, but yep.
Now it's time for 5 questions.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Best new West Virginia music act. Hello,
Hmm.
June or Corduroy Brown?
Hello, June, if I'm going to pick between those two. I'm sorry, Corduroy Brown, but I've heard more of them.
Leather pants or assless chaps?
Whoa! That's a question. Leather pants.
Loud music or loud sex?
Both.
California Dreams or The Heights?
I don't know what you mean by that.
They both were TV music shows.
Oh, I have no clue.
Okay.
California, because I like California.
Okay. Favorite West Virginia tourist destination? Allegheny Lunatic Asylum or Green Bank Observatory?
Okay, so if I'm going to choose between the two of them, I'm going to say Green Bank, even though I love Allegheny and all of that. But Green Bank, just because you got to like shut your phone off and enjoy nature and see the big old satellites. Like that's a really cool thing. But there are lots of other attractions in West Virginia as well.
And to close us out, here's Allister Stolas' brand new single, When I Wake Up Again.
Sun comes beaming through my window, warms and highlights your skin. You smile softly as your eyes open, then I wake up again. The dreams are getting vivid, and I'm becoming livid, waking up without you here. I ask our friends about you, but they can't tell me the truth, 'cause I won't remember when I wake up again. When I wake up again. Your arms around me as I hold on, baby. All I feel right now is joy, but awake to find a man I don't recognize that tells me he's our little boy. The dreams are getting vivid, and I'm becoming livid, waking up without you here. I ask our friends about you, but they can't tell me the truth, 'cause I won't remember when I wake up again. When I wake up again. Oh,
want to thank my special guest, Allister Stolas, for sharing his music and life journey with Mothman and the Bible Belt listeners. You can purchase Breakin My Bones and When I Wake Up Again on iTunes and Amazon Music. You can follow Allister Stolas on Facebook and Instagram. For Mothman and the Bible Belt podcast outlet updates, guest bios, episode breakdowns, and links to social media, please check us out on the web at www.mothmanandthebiblebelt.com. Thanks for listening.